Sports Center. Super Bowl 26. This was, on paper, a game that was maybe going to be the Super Bowl of all time. The greatest Super Bowl of all time, many felt, was the last one, Super Bowl 25, which the Buffalo Bills were edged. This time, their task to beat a Washington Redskin team that had rolled to the best record in the regular season at 14-2 and had rolled over Atlanta and rolled over the Detroit Lions in the playoffs. All year long, Joe Gibbs, coach of the Redskins, has kind of been yucking it up, almost auditioning for the job that Jay Leno got. Why was Joe in such a good mood all year long? After today's Super Bowl in the Metrodome, we fully understood why. Here we go. Let's take out the highlights from the Metrodome. And a big crowd on hand. Jeff Bostic, thumbs up. Mark Rippon, his first Super Bowl, how would he react? Thurman Thomas, that was the best that he would move all day. Bruce Smith going head-to-head with Jim Lachey. Scoreless in the first. Second possession for the Redskins. Mark Rippon finds Arthur Monk for 12. He finds Arthur Monk for 18. He finds Arthur Monk for 19. Many of these spectacular catches. Then the miss by Kirby Jackson. Mark Kelso knocks him out of bounds to the 2-yard line. Then on third down, it's Rippon to Monk for a touchdown. And the Redskins feel they have the early 7-0 lead, or do they, Tom?
No, Chris, if you watch the replay here, very athletic move by Monk as he gets the left foot down. Kirby Jackson makes contact, but if you watch Monk's toe right there, it's on the line. TD's negated.
And then to make matters worse, Jeff Rutledge fumbles the snap, so the Bills evade a couple of bullets right there, and Joe Rutledge just missed it.
The holder should get all the credit and all the blame in this case. It just goes through his hand, and Rutledge was happy it turned out the way it did.
Jim Kelly trying to get things going, but Darrell Green gets the tip, and Brad Edwards with the interception. But the favors return when Jeff Wright makes the tip, and Kirby Jackson, the man who'd been scorched earlier, comes up with the INT. Now Mark Rippon wants to go to work. He gets started. Possession in the second quarter. Kelso late. Ricky Sanders catches a 42-yard bomb. Isn't it always the second quarter for the Skins? That sets up a field goal, 3-0. Now, watch the move to Gary Clark for 15 yards. Rippon to Monk for a quick 7. And then a pretty play to Ernest Biner for a touchdown. It's 10-0 Skins in the second quarter. Next drive, Washington. They own this quarter in the Super Bowl. Rippon across to Gary Clark. Watch the move he makes on Nate Odoms. Turns it into a 34-yard game. And that sets up deep. Gerald Briggs behind the Hogs. 17-0. The blowout is upon us. It was scoreless at the end of one. But Marv Levy's club is now down 17-0. And Matt Millen, who didn't play today, says, let's see some defense. Tim Johnson smacks Kelly on his release. On the same play, Wilbur Marshall nails Keith McKellar. Thermal Thomas, he never got warm today. Eric Williams stops him there, and then Williams makes another play. There's Andre Collins nailing Thomas.
Yeah, if you watch Andre Collins here on the blitz, he comes in untouched, and that's what happens sometimes when you have the numbers stacked against you.
Kelly and Frank Wright trying to figure out what's going on. Don Beebe is nailed by Brad Edwards. Big play at the end of the half. Then Kelly looks for Andre Reed. Reed says, where's the interference against Edwards? They're in field goal range late in the half, down 17-0. But the unsportsmanlike conduct, 10-yard penalty takes them out of field goal range. Marv Levy's club goes scoreless to the half, 17-0. First play of the third quarter, goodbye. Collins with the pressure. Kurt Gouveia with the pick. It's almost a touchdown, but it's about to set up a touchdown for Gerald Briggs, and it's 24-0 Skins, and for all intents and purposes, it was over. Ted Marchibroda's offense gets it back to 24-10, but Rip, 30 yards to Gary Clark, money, just when the other team thinks they're in it. The Skins have that killer instinct, Joe, and they went for the jugular again.
Well, when you want to go after the Redskins, the big guys up front do a great job of picking up the stunts and pass blocking, gives Mark the chance to throw the football. You can't cover Gary Clark one-on-one, 30 yards down the field. That's what Williams found out.
As Rippon continued to impress as the game went on. Meanwhile, Marv Levy hoping that his quarterback would get protected. Not Alvoid Mays. Theodore and Simon and Alvoid make the hit. Fred Stokes recovers, sets up a field goal. Kelly fresh out of the pocket. Former Bill Martin Meshew sneezes on him, and Jimmy was down for a while. He came back, but this one was already over. Jumpy Geathers knew it. Jim Hannafin knew it. The Bills knew it. Oh, yeah. Now Joe Gibbs knows it. Third Super Bowl crown in the span of a decade. World champ, says Ernest Biner, and yes, they are. The victor in impressive style. The Washington Redskins, after a scoreless first quarter, rolled the Buffalo Bills 37-24, 8 in a row for the NFC. This was a no-doubter. And the MVP, well, I'll tell you what, you could have given it to one of about 10 people, but why not the quarterback? Mark Rippon almost threw for 300 yards, 18 of 33, and after a start which wasn't necessarily great, he just looked crisper and crisper and crisper, so he wins the MVP. Afterwards, Rippon and the Skins talked about it.
Feel Rip.
Feels great. It really does.
Seems like you come out this season with something to prove. You really did it today.
This was it. This is a culmination of a lot of hard work by a lot of guys.
Hey, Jim, how about number 11? That's got to make your life easy with a guy like that back there.
He did a great job there. A gutty performance. He got smacked around a few times in there, but yet he still hung in there and did a great job. So we're proud of Rip.
Those Washington Redskins. Hail to the Redskins. There is no question. I'll tell you what, the difference we talk about the Washington Redskins owning the second quarter, the reason we mentioned that 35-0 a few years ago in San Diego when they took a 10-0 deficit against the Broncos and turned that into a big win. Today, 17-0 lead, 266 to 78 yards at the half. Throw the time of possession out, who cares? It was the Redskins that rolled in the second quarter. And I'll tell you what, Tommy, there's one unit all week. We talked about the Washington offense. We talked about the Buffalo offense. We talked about the Buffalo defense playing a lot better. But the kind of the unit was overlooked all week, I thought, was the Washington Redskins defense. Overlooked no more.
Yeah, overlooked by everybody except our Joe Theismann. You know, what a role reversal we had this morning. I guess I forgot that defense, as Joe reminded me that my dad said, is what wins championships. I was very impressed with the fact that they were able to shut down the MVP of this league this year, Thurman Thomas. And the other thing we talked about all week was how Richie Pettibone was going to be bothered by the Buffalo hurry-up offense. Well, during that 10 to 15 seconds between the end of the play and the next time the Bills could get lined up and ready to run a play, Richie Pettibone substituted as much as he wanted to.
Well, Tommy, they did shut down Thurman Thomas. And the way to shut down Thurman Thomas, you don't have to worry about tackling him when you make him pass block all afternoon. Andre Collins continued to blitz. Thurman Thomas had to block him. Big key in the game. Also, a subtle move by Richie Pettibone that was just terrific. Thurman Thomas, Andre Reed, two big guns for the Buffalo Bills. Put Darrell Green on Andre Reed, and you will hear from Andre no more. And that's exactly what happened. Thomas and Reed not to be found in Super Bowl 26.
You know, the final score was a 13-point deficit, but obviously was more than that sort of ball game. So it's hard to pick really a key play in a game that ends up being like this. But my key play, or key moment, I think was when the Redskins beat the Detroit Lions 2 weeks ago in the NFC Championship, because that obviously meant that here they were, and they were going to be a team to be reckoned with. We thought Buffalo would do well. Not. Well, at least I got the butt bowl right. Tommy, Joe, you got a key play?
Well, I think that as you look at the game, anytime you're behind to the extent that the Buffalo Bills had fallen behind late in the second quarter, you're looking for any kind of score to get you something before you go in the locker room. And I thought that when BB made the drop, and I don't really want to call it a drop, he was hit hard here, but in a championship contest, you have to somehow come up with that catch so that you go into the locker room feeling good about yourself. Here, if you watch it again, it's a perfectly timed play. He makes the break down the sideline, the safety comes over, and just as he's getting ready to catch the ball, he knocks it out. It's the difference between going in feeling like we don't have a chance and going in feeling like we're on the way back.
Well, Tommy, I hate to drive the point home, but it's defense, defense, defense. We saw the play at the end of the half. Now, the first play of the second half is what I think was the turning point. Andre Collins up the middle. Thurman Thomas can barely get a finger on him, tries to throw to McKellar. Kurt Gavea picks it off. He looks like the receiver, stumbles, rumbles, and bumbles his way down to the 2-yard line. Winds up setting up the easy 2-yard touchdown run by Gerald Riggs. I mean, it was defense by the Redskins.
I tell you what, The Redskins all year long, we said it on our shows, halftime of games, they seem to have all the answers. And you know, some of their answers today weren't the Pro Bowl players. I mean, guys like Rippon are going to the Pro Bowl, but guys like Andre Collins and Kurt Gouveia, Jason Buck had a big sack, Alvoid Mays. I mean, remember when they won 4 years ago? It was Raven Caldwell and guys like that. Boy, I'll tell you, everybody on the Skins knows exactly the game plan, whether you're a Pro Bowler or whether you're a situation player. And the situation right now is they're the champs of the football world. 37-24.